So as I'm recording this video, the Phoenix Suns just went up 3-0 in the series against the Denver Nuggets in the second round, and every single game in this series has been a blowout for the Suns. And in one of my recent videos where I did a second chance bracket for my playoff predictions starting in the second round, I predicted that the Suns would win this series in 5, and it's looking like it might even be less than that. They might sweep this series against the Denver Nuggets. They're clearly the better team, and the Nuggets need to do something to try and disrupt them. The Suns are an incredible team right now, and in my last video, I talked about 5 reasons why I think they'll win the NBA championship this year. Be sure to go check that one out as well. I talked about how I like the Suns game a lot right now, but ultimately they're destroying the Nuggets right now, and I think the Nuggets have a secret weapon here that they're not using. Now, if you guys watch my channel, you know that I'm a huge fan of Bol Bol, and I make a video about him every single month talking about different things like trade possibilities or why he should play, or some conspiracy theories on why he's not, and everything like this. And I've been making a lot of Bol content previously on the channel, and right now I'm making a lot of playoffs content, but today I'm going to throw them together and talk about why Bol could be a secret weapon for the Nuggets in this series. And it is a little bit too late for them, they're already down 3-0, but I think he really could have helped them in the series, and today I'm going to be talking about why. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any new videos. As I mentioned, I'm posting a ton right now, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. With that being said, let's get started. The first reason why Bol could really help the Nuggets right now try to disrupt the Suns defense is with his shooting. Now, the Nuggets haven't shot well in this series, and we've seen how throughout the playoffs with the Lakers series with the Suns against the Lakers, and in this series, the Suns are really picking up on how their opponent hasn't been shooting the 3 very well in both of these series, and they're now really shrinking the floor, and they did this more so against the Lakers. They really crowded the paint and made sure that someone other than LeBron could beat them, and they're starting to do it more and more against the Nuggets too. I'm realizing how Jokic is facing a lot of double teams in the paint, and despite him being an incredible playmaker, when he kicks it out to the 3-point line, it's tough for this team to knock down shots because they're just straight up not making shots right now. For the series, the Nuggets are shooting 42 of 124 from 3, which is 33% from 3 throughout the series versus the Suns, which is obviously not very good. League average is around 37% right now, and their spacing isn't great either, and like I mentioned, the Suns are really just crowding them in the paint and making it difficult for guys to score inside, and then when they kick it out, the Suns are doing a great job of contesting those shots as well, really leaping out and doing very good contests, which is one of the main reasons why their defense is succeeding. I talked about this in my latest video too, about how this defense reminds me of the Raptors defense back in 2020. It's amazing how they play defense, but ultimately the Nuggets do need to hit some more threes here. Now, Bol can absolutely help them here, and even if he's not really contributing to other aspects of the game yet because he hasn't developed, he's still a lethal shooter, and I'm pretty sure we all know that. I mean, so far throughout his NBA career, it's a very small sample size, but throughout his NBA career, including the scrimmage games in the bubble, he's shooting 17 of 43 from 3 in his career so far, which is 40%, which is obviously very good. And in college, he shot 13 of 25, which is 52% from 3, which is obviously absolutely insane. A very small sample size, but this is all the data that we have for Bol right now. He's also 7'2", so it's obviously going to be really hard for anyone to effectively contest his shot. And even if Bol's really not getting that many opportunities to shoot the 3, if he does come in and play in this series, it's going to be really valuable for this Nuggets team just to have another floor spacer out there and make it easier for their big guys, especially like Jokic, to operate and try to score in the paint. Ultimately, I know that Bol isn't going to end up playing in this series. The Nuggets are already down 3-0, and Mike Malone has just never played him throughout this series, but if they did, it would really help out their offensive flow. His spacing would really help them out, and he could knock down the occasional 3 and shoot around 40% from 3, as he's consistently done throughout his career. So because of Bol's shooting ability, how he's tall, no one will really ever be able to effectively contest that shot, and he would really add some valuable spacing to this team, and you'll see how the Suns wouldn't be able to shrink the floor as much as they usually do if they had Bol on the court because of his lethal 3-point shot. Overall, this would really help the Nuggets offense, and nothing's going right for them right now on the offensive end of the floor, especially with their shooting, so I think they might as well try it. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is how the Nuggets could use Bol to kind of put a bigger lineup out there on the floor in terms of height and maybe try to create some mismatches against the Suns defense. Obviously, the Suns defense has been absolutely insane throughout this playoffs. I've talked about it a ton on the channel, how good their defense is, and probably the best in the NBA so far throughout the playoffs. But I think if the Nuggets tried to go with a bigger lineup here, it could maybe create some problems. And they're down 3-0. I think we can all agree that the series is pretty much over. But if the Nuggets even want a chance to maybe even throw in a little comeback in there, win 1 or 2 games, they have to try something different than what they're doing right now. They can't just put the exact same lineup out there and go with the exact same game plan offensively that they've done throughout the first 3 games where they've got completely blown out. And I know if they just hit some more threes, it would be a lot easier for the team, but they're getting blown out so bad that they have to try something different here. Now, I'm sure you all remember back in the bubble, in one of the first scrimmage games in the NBA bubble in 2020, when the Nuggets put out a huge lineup. There was Bol, Jokic, Mason Plumlee, Jeremy Grant, and one other player I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but it was kind of as a joke to put this huge lineup out there in a scrimmage game. But at the same time, something like this could work for the Nuggets right now, and I know this is sounding insane, but they have to try something different. They're down 3-0, they have nothing to lose, they might as well. Now, it wouldn't be to the same extent as that lineup that we saw in the bubble, but it would be a really tall lineup. The point guard would still be Monte Morris, but that would have a 6'6" shooting guard in Will Barton, a 6'10" small forward in Michael Porter Jr., Bol at the power forward at 7'2", and then obviously Jokic at center, who is 7 foot. Now, it doesn't seem like that big of a lineup, but it's going to create a lot of problems for the Suns team. It would make them uncomfortable on defense, which they haven't been throughout this entire playoffs. They have DeAndre Ayton, who's 7 foot, and Dario Saric, who's 6'10", but other than that, the players that they have in their 9-man rotation, none of them other than Saric and Ayton are above the height of 6'8". And all of the Nuggets players too that I'm putting into this lineup, especially those last 3 of Michael Porter Jr., Bol, and Jokic, all have the ability to shoot the 3 at a really high level and handle the ball. So all 3 of these guys, 6'10", 7 foot, and 7'2", Bol, all of these guys have guard-like skills, and they're going to be going out here and creating mismatches. So putting Bol out there would really make their lineup more unique, very tall, and it would make it a little bit different, more uncomfortable for the Phoenix Suns. And I just think it's something to try. You might as well, you're down 3-0, just go for it and see how it goes. The third and final main reason why I think Bol playing in this series could have helped the Nuggets out a lot is his length and his defense. Now, I know, before you start slandering me about how Bol isn't a good defender because you're a Nuggets fan and you've watched him play for 3 games in the season where he didn't play well defensively, I'll tell you right now, as a guy that watches Bol play a lot, he can bring a lot of positive things defensively. And I know he's not a great overall defender yet, and throwing him into an elimination game when he hasn't played the entire season probably wouldn't be a good overall idea, but it's definitely something to try because he's a very good rim protector, and we've seen how the Suns guards have been able to operate in the pick and roll a lot easier than they usually have in this series because Jokic is mostly a liability when you put him in the pick and roll, and other guys have tried to defend this pick and roll for the Nuggets too, mostly Jokic, but it's really not working out. Chris Paul is still operating in the mid-range area in this series like he's done in the prime of his career. Devin Booker's hitting a ton of mid-range shots as well as easy floaters around the rim, and I just think the Nuggets need to try something to make it harder on this team. And I know Bol isn't a great defender yet, but having a guy with a 7'9" wingspan out there would really help them even just get a hand up on some of Chris Paul's and Devin Booker's shots in the mid-range area. And Bol averaged 2.7 blocks per game in college with Oregon, only 9 games, but you can see how he's a good shot blocker, especially if you watch him play. He has a great strategy when it comes to blocking shots. He always times it well, even against the best of the best, and so far in his NBA career, he's averaged 3.2 blocks per 100 possessions so far. So nothing else is working for the Nuggets right now, so they might as well try it to see if it can disrupt Chris Paul or Devin Booker when they get into the paint or the mid-range area. And like I mentioned, since Jokic isn't working and no one else is working on this Nuggets team to be able to defend the pick and roll, they've got to try Bol just to see if they can have something that could disrupt them. So that's going to be the end of today's video. This is why I think that Bol Bol could help the Nuggets out in this series, and how he could have helped them out in some of the earlier games as well. His shooting and floor spacing ability, how putting him on the floor would create some mismatch for the Suns defense when it comes to height, and how he could bring some length and shot blocking ability defensively. I know throwing Bol Bol into this series in an elimination game when he literally hasn't played the entire season, definitely isn't developed as an NBA player yet, wouldn't seem like the greatest idea, but the Nuggets have to try something right now. And down the road in Bol Bol's career, if he does get the right development and he gets put into a good situation in the NBA, he's absolutely going to develop into a very, very good role player at the worst, and he could potentially develop into an all-star later in his career. As I mentioned, I've made lots of other videos about Bol on the channel. I think I have a pretty good knowledge of him, so if you guys want to check it out, I'll link all of the videos, or most of the videos, at the end screen of this video, so be sure to check those out as well. Like I mentioned, I've made one about a conspiracy why I think he's not playing, reasons why he should be playing, how good he could be in his prime, and all that. So be sure to check those out as well if you haven't already. If you're new, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any new videos. As I mentioned, I'm posting lots during the playoffs right now, so make sure you subscribe. Thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next video.